I think there's something unique about pressure because it affects every single one of us differently and uniquely the same, because we all feel the tightness, the tension, but it's unique to you. But we all feel it, we've all experienced it. The thing about pressure, the thing about anxiety, the thing about stress is you can coach me in the sense of you can tell me about it, you can be a teacher in the classroom, but I really won't comprehend it unless I go through it. I can write it down on paper to understand it and to have comprehension, but to live through it so that it's written on my heart is a lesson of comprehension that's emotional, that can only be understood by living through it. There is pressure that you got to live through to understand on an emotional level so you can know the ins and outs of the why. Who I am, who am I called to be, where am I going in my life? You will only understand by going through it. We ask ourselves sometimes, why is life so hard? Why do I feel the pressure? Why do I got to go through it? If I don't go through it, I take it for granted. If I don't go through it, I really didn't learn anything. Moses had the Red Sea in front of him, and he had Pharaoh and all of his armies behind him, and they were stuck. They had nowhere to go. The Israelites were mad at Moses. Bro, you brought us out here to die? What are you doing? And that's how pressure and stress can feel. I've been left here to die. But the reality is the stressor, the pressure, the Red Sea that laid before them, the thing that they thought was their prison, was the thing that they had to go through. The thing that you think is your prison is the thing that God is calling you to go through. You just got to take a step of faith and go. Just because the stress came to you doesn't mean it's going to stay with you. It ain't moving in. Don't give it shared responsibilities. Don't act like it's normal. This is just who I am. Shake it off. Here's what I mean by that. Jesus told the disciples when they went out to minister 2 by 2, if anyone's to reject you, any town, any city, any residence, shake it off because it's going to be worse for them than Sodom and Gomorrah. We built it up like it's this ultimate enemy. We built it up like it's this devastation, like it's the end of the world. Listen, I worked at Kmart when I was a little kid, from the age of 15 all the way up until about 20 years old, and I thought this is the worst thing. I'm never going to grow outside of this. I'm applying for all kind of jobs. But the little did I know this early pressure that was forming me, that was helping me, that was challenging me, giving me work ethic. Y'all, do you know what that establishment is today, let alone the company filed for bankruptcy? I want to show you the exact location that I thought was the hardest thing that I ever encountered working in retail, working with all these different people at this job, this pressure. I want you to see what it looks like now. It's a U-Haul. It's a U-Haul. The thing that looked like something at one point in my life is a completely different thing now. If you could only see what it will be. The thing that you think is bogging you down, that's stressing you out, it's just one thing. But it's going to be something else in another season. The thing that's stressing you will be the thing that blesses you in another season. Come on, y'all, some. The place that I worked for that gave me the stress is now the place that I'm having moving all my junk out of my life. Oh, come on, somebody. Come on. It's a U-Haul. It's a completely different thing. It's the company that I called to move all my stuff out of my house, to move to Waco, Texas, to start a church. The thing that was a pressure now became a deliverance in my life. Come on, somebody. The thing that's holding you captive, that you feel like is the end of you, will be the beginning of the blessing in your life. It's just a thing. The thing that you think is devastation will actually be the glory of God and the deliverance of your life. The truth is, the pressure builds you. It equips you. It brings a work ethic. It brings a spiritual muscle that you're flexing. You just don't see it yet. But it's also going to be the thing that, even though it's bringing pressure, in the next season, it's also going to be the thing that's going to be a blessing in your life because you went through it. The Red Sea was an obstacle. The Red Sea felt like prison, but it was also the method, the vehicle of deliverance for Moses and the children of Israel. Kmart was a pressure. It was a stress. But what is it now? The supernatural things will always be found in how we steward the pressures of our life. When it comes to the pressure, will it possess you or will you possess it? Pressure is always looking to take action in your life. So we have to make the statement, it's my turn to take action in this moment. My life isn't something that you get to mess with. So I'm not gonna let the stress and the pressure possess me. I lay hold of, I lay claim to anything that wants to mess with me. 2 Corinthians 10:5 says that we can oppose every deceptive fantasy that opposes God. We can break through every arrogant attitude that is set up against the knowledge of God. We capture every thought like prisoners of war and insist it bow to the anointed one. What is Paul saying here in 2 Corinthians? That everything that comes to me, I get to have a decision of how I want it to rule my life. And it's an example, it can rule me or I can rule it. So the excuse of, oh, I can't help it, we can. You get to steward the pressure. You get to create the process of how do I want my life to really flow. Your life doesn't run you, you run it. Your life doesn't own you. Circumstances don't own you. The stress doesn't own you. The anxiety doesn't own you. You get to sit here and take every thought captive. I get to declare, you don't mess with me. You don't mess with my life. I take it captive and then I lay it at the feet of Jesus and I give it to him. Because what I go through doesn't grow me. What I go through doesn't even define me. It's what I take with me and I give to the feet of Jesus.